So it's March 3rd, and you know what that means. It's the Switch's anniversary. The Nintendo Switch is a deeply flawed system, but I've never seemed to care much about those flaws. 1 year ago, I picked this thing up with burning anticipation for Zelda Breath of the Wild and the system itself, and after playing the system from 1 a.m. to 12 p.m., then walking to go get food and playing it in portable mode until I got back at 2 p.m., docking it again, and playing till 2 a.m. that night, all allegedly in the name of my media career, I knew I had picked up something special. In a console generation where most systems were a little confused about what they were supposed to be, here came not just a gimmick, but a legitimately novel idea, a system that adapted to how you wanted to play it. Companies always spend a boatload of money to make sure their products feel good to interact with, but with video games, this is paramount. Any blockade in how the system feels is a blockade to the primary goal of games: interactive immersion. The Switch gets this so right by having the handheld mode, tabletop mode, docked mode, and controllers that slide off the console and split into different modes just in case you have an unexpected guest at a coffee shop. While the competition is a bunch of hulking black rectangles, the Switch, in typical Nintendo fashion, has a personality. The console isn't as powerful as its peers, but first-party games make up that gap with clever art direction, which will always trump the extra 3Ks in my opinion. The first year of the Switch has been an exciting one. Even with deep and evident flaws that the system has, it has remained my favorite games experience to date. Let's run down the first year of this beautiful thing. So I started March 3rd, 2017 at midnight with my local GameStop having a very strange party at Buffalo Wild Wings. I picked up my Switch and a physical copy of Breath of the Wild, because while I'm a digital purchaser of games, I can fill that card slot with one special game that I'll always have in the system. I saved up money little by little since the Switch was announced, so I balled out with the release with the meaty Pro controller, Switch case, Hori stand, Ethernet adapter, extra charging cable, and the why wasn't this included in the first place charging controller grip. I rushed home to set up the console, unboxing different pieces and setting snipper clips, Shovel Knight, Bomberman, and 1-2 Switch to download. I played some of those multiplayer games with my twin brother, who also picked up a Switch that night. Once he went home, I embarked on the aforementioned Zelda binge. The launch lineup was 100% a launch lineup. 1-2 Switch should have been a pack-in game to show off the Switch's cool features, as the $50 price tag seemed to be a huge stretch for how much game you were getting. Shovel Knight was Shovel Knight, with some new DLC to sweeten the pot, so even though I had the Wii U version, I had to dig into it. Bomberman was aggressively average, while Snipper Clips was a pleasant surprise. A big complaint with this console and other consoles was how dry the first few months are in game releases. Even with the surefire slam dunk that the PS4 was, third-party developers were only dipping their toes in, choosing to also release a PS3 version of all their big games early on. The Switch was no stranger to this problem, but Zelda Breath of the Wild will go down as one of the best launch games of all time, and a lesson to Sony and Microsoft on what sort of title you put a system behind. Though it also came to the Wii U to keep their promise to Nintendo fans who had suffered through the Wii U's life cycle, Breath of the Wild was a treat on the Switch, and a great demonstration of the viability of the console. The game's open book policy in terms of progression really marketed the features of the Switch. I never felt compelled to only consume it in large sessions, and I brought it to work to play on my 15-minute breaks at the time. It didn't seem to matter much that the lineup was lean when I had such a big boy of a game release leading the way. I can't tell you exactly how much time I put into Zelda, since today my Switch deleted that data, but if that initial binge session gives you an idea, you get the point. I will be the first to say that Zelda is a little overrated, but it, coupled with the console it came on, was a breath of fresh air to a largely oversaturated and uninspired open-world games that have been the bread and butter of the industry. While it has deep flaws, the triumphs of the game are so incredible that it doesn't hinder the experience. The next release we got was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in April, starting the trend of porting the fantastic Wii U library over so that anyone who was everyone could experience them. The title added the Splatoon characters, which was a nice fan service, but also a clever marketing move along with some other racers, and the sorely missed battle mode. As far as re-releases go, this wasn't a terrible one in my book, and my brother has sunk an unfathomable amount of time into this game with our group of friends. The next title was ARMS, a fighting game about flinging stretchy arms like a lunatic. I rented this game because, come on, I'm not made of money, and I was kind of glad I did. The core concept was interesting, but the game lacked the depth required to give the game any staying power. Still, it was a fun game to play both locally and online, even if the single player was a wet fart. After ARMS came Splatoon 2, another attempt at the multiplayer appeal of the Switch. I never got a chance to play the first Splatoon, so while I hear this was remarkably similar to that one with a lot of recycled content, I love the overall vibe of the game. It's this underwater version of Tokyo where you have wars over whether ketchup or mayonnaise is better and buy cool stuff from a fried shrimp. The online infrastructure of this game is absolute trash and hard to navigate if you want to team up with your friends, play a specific stage or a specific mode, but when the stars align with the schedule that the game has, the schedule that you have, and the schedule that your friends have, it's a pretty incredible experience and a wonderful new take on the deathmatch shooter. This was the same time that the Switch app came to smartphones, which still only works for Splatoon 2. While it's a nice way to check your rankings, shop, and see if the part of Splatoon you wanted to play is currently available, the voice chat function here is a joke, leading to the new "why does this exist" pair of Splatoon headphones with a splitter so you can hear the game and your friends as long as you're in handheld mode or 2 inches away from your TV mode. The online service had been pushed back to fall 2018, and they have some work to do if they want people to actually pay for this. As we entered fall, I enjoyed many games like Sonic Mania, which was available on every major console, but best enjoyed on Switch because of the handheld factor. This became a huge trend for me, where I'll trade graphical fidelity for user experience 12 days out of the week. Mario and White Rabbit Guy's character marketing opportunity was not the greatest game in the world, but it was a fun entry in a tactical genre that isn't explored in the AAA space as much as I'd like. They released a new Dynasty Warriors texture pack in the form of Fire Emblem, and while I totally don't see the lasting appeal of these games, the tactical angle of this particular entry helped it feel pretty tense and epic at times, and boy, let's talk about those voice actors. Pokken Tournament DX was a direct fart in the mouth to anyone who bought the Wii U version, requiring an entire new purchase for 5 new characters and an additional $20 for the other 2. I suppose it never seemed worth it for these guys to offer those characters on the Wii U version alongside the arcade version, but if they want to charge $10 per character, I suppose we should feel lucky that they packaged them in the Switch version for $60. I'm being sarcastic here. We also started to get real third-party games like Doom, which even though it runs at a lower frame rate than its PS4 companion, it cracks the door open for more third-party ports in the future. In October, the Golden Boy was back, with the crown jewel of the Nintendo Switch. We got Super Mario Odyssey, Mario's triumphant return to the sandbox-style gameplay introduced with Super Mario 64. Mario Odyssey is a game that embodies what the Nintendo Switch is, a return to fun. Games are so concerned with being dramatic, photorealistic, and while I think it's fantastic that our definition of what games can be is expanding, Mario Odyssey is a reminder of why we all started playing these things in the first place. While I personally think it's a better experience than Zelda, fight me, the 2 sweepers of the 2017 Game of the Years were these 2 fantastic games rounding out the holidays for the Switch. As we got into 2018, I've been enjoying a lot of smaller titles like Celeste, which have the space and creative energy to do fresh and new things while the big AAA boys have to chase the trends. The Switch has been a great, profitable home for indies, and has given games like Shovel Knight and Owlboy a second life. As I've been working on this script, the only thing that has consistently bothered me about the Switch is the inconsistency. Sometimes the online experience is really jagged, and I don't know if this is just me and my friends, but we have a lot of problems with the Joy-Con controllers. The other issues that I thought were going to be issues like the battery life, underpoweredness, and the substantial lack of releases haven't occupied my mind, at all. Nintendo, through the Switch, has yet again taught us that this medium isn't just about what we play, but how we play. This time, rather than pushing a creative vision into the consumer, they have given us control over how we would like to experience the games. We can play with motion, sitting, standing, handheld, TV, hunched over with a Pro controller, or laying down with separated Joy-Cons. The power of the Switch in this interactive medium is that you have the power to interact with it. While the first year will be hard to follow up without the presence of giants like Mario and Zelda and indie darlings like Celeste and Snake Pass, somehow, I think the strength of the concept is going to stick here, and we'll have plenty to look forward to in the future. Thanks so much for checking out this video in my channel. Some of the B-roll that was used in this video was actually from my Nintendo Switch review that I did about a year ago, so if you want to take a trip down memory lane and see that, there is a link in the description to the now unlisted video. If you want to buy the Nintendo Switch or any of the Switch stuff that we talked about, you can follow the Amazon affiliate link and we'll get a commission of that sale, help support the show, because as of right now, your boy can't get on any monetization. If you want to keep up with the latest in Nintendo, be sure to subscribe on whatever platform you are listening or watching on. I give bite-sized updates Monday through Friday with a posting time around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Monday for more Nintendo Nightly.